Trendify presents 10 islands you won't believe exist. Snake Island. Snake Island is a deserted island where the forest floor is covered with the world's most venomous vipers, where a fisherman was once found dead on his boat with its deck awash with his blood, and where a lighthouse keeper and his entire family got massacred in a nocturnal snake invasion of their isolated cottage home. The island is just off the coast of Brazil and hosts a certain breed of an exotic-sounding snake known as a golden lancehead. However, this snake has one of the worst venoms in the world, which literally causes your flesh to rot off your bones. To make matters worse for any visitors to the island, it's quite a densely packed island. In fact, the Brazilian Navy has forbidden anyone to visit the place, and they aren't even doing it to protect the snakes. Izu Islands. Izu Islands is a volcanic island which comprises of 2 towns and 6 villages. The island is filled with deadly levels of sulfur in the air. Though there's a huge amount of dangerous sulfur in the air, people still live there and are all forced to wear masks. There's a dedicated siren to alert the inhabitants whenever the sulfur reaches a toxic level. Poveglia Island. Located in the lagoon in Venice, this island got its scary start when the Romans decided the best thing for society was to round up all the plague victims of the era and stick them somewhere to contain any diseases. That somewhere happened to be Poveglia Island. Several thousand people were gathered in quarantine on the island where they died together. However, this type of genocide actually happened more than once on the island. When the bubonic plague tore through Europe, the island was reinstated to its former glory, a final vacation spot for anyone with the plague. When the plague got worse, they lowered Poveglia's requirements from plague sufferers to anybody with any sign of sickness at all. They also changed their policy of let the infected die peacefully to throw them into a large pit and set them on fire. Estimates put the death toll at 160,000 on the island, where the charred bones still wash up on shore. Grunard Island. Grunard Island is a tiny oval-shaped island known as one of the most dangerous islands in the world. This was initially a top-secret island under control of Great Britain used for their biological warfare experiments. Experiments with anthrax have caused the release of some spores, causing entire flocks of sheep to be killed. Ramree Island. Ramree Island is known for a 1945 World War II battle, a battle in which many Japanese soldiers would be eaten alive by saltwater crocodiles living in the inland mangrove swamps. The only thing standing in the way of salvation for the group of fleeing Japanese soldiers was a swamp. All 900 men entered the swamp. 500 were never heard from again. Ramree Island is not only home to malaria-carrying mosquitoes, blowflies, and deadly scorpions, it also harbors a very deadly creature, the saltwater crocodile. Lots and lots and lots of them, as a matter of fact. Of the men that survived the massacre, the majority were wounded badly, but still technically alive enough to wish they were dead. In fact, the massacre of the Japanese troops by crocodiles was so horrific, it earned the title of being the Guinness Book of World Records' greatest disaster suffered from animals. Reunion Island. While the island itself is at a rather deadly location, the water surrounding it is even more deadly. There's an abnormal high concentration of sharks around the island, which strikes fear of water into the island's inhabitants. Surfing and swimming have both been outlawed since 2013. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Every time America or China dumps plastics in the water, it ends up in the ocean, and the currents drag it all the way to the same place, an area known as the North Pacific Gyre. Over time, the garbage added up, and now it's basically an island the size of Texas. However, it gets worse. Plastic doesn't biodegrade, but it does break down into smaller and smaller pieces. Pieces the size of plankton, in fact. And when fish see something plankton-sized, they think, dinner time. What that means is the fish are filling themselves with this stuff, and in turn, you may be eating plastic when you buy that wild-caught salmon. North Sentinel Island. This island contains the last Stone Age tribe that is yet to be contacted by the outside world. The tribes are very lethal in opposing any ships or helicopters hovering over the island, even resorting to firing arrows at boats and ships, either causing them to sink or killing the captains. Nobody has successfully landed on the island. Saba Island. This unfortunate island is located near the epicenter of hurricanes. The island has been hit by more hurricanes than any other in over 100 years. Due to these natural calamities, it became a prime location for a private sanctuary of smugglers and pirates. At some point, you've probably seen this famous photo. Around 300 years ago, 5 different families called this island home. Here they survived by fishing, raising their own cattle, and hunting puffins in the area. Thanks to the naturally grassy land, the cattle did very well here, as did the families. However, they did not live in the house that currently sits on the island. Instead, they resided in huts. Now, the standing house in the picture serves as a retreat for local hunting associations. In simplicity, the members come to the cabin for shelter and a sauna when they are not out hunting for puffins.